Hello everybody, there we go. What a weird day. So I have a stream deck here that is not working. So I thought I'd cut and then started the stream, but it did not work. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, here we go. I've been working a little bit on stuff. I don't know if I showed the guitar player on, I don't think I did. Let me look. I was working on the Spider-Punk guitar player, and I think I finished it up this weekend. It's really cool. I had some serious problems with the wash. I know I used a medium. I should have used the Lamian medium. I don't really know. Let's cut to the table so I can show you. Sadly, I have to do this without the stream deck. Here we go. Oh, I don't even have the chat up. This is silly. What a day. But yeah, I had such problems with the tech. It's so weird. Like, we keep having stuff go wrong, and I'm getting a message, which is probably telling me something else is wrong. Wow. Oh, that's Nikki moving around. Let me get the chat going here. Oops, not good. I really liked, I have a little bit of it in my pop palette there. The Pro Acryl or transparent colors, I believe all of them now. I bought a few at first, like I bought the transparent white, which I haven't really used that much, but I have bought, do you have one of the pop things? Hey, Ian. It's great. I love using it. It's fantastic for the eyedropper bottles, and it's really good for contrast paints. I really like the paint. So what I was using it is I painted it the spider legs red. Oops, now I don't even know what I'm doing here. Using a Mac here in the studio, which I don't use as much. But I painted these with the red. This was the ball red. I did that on the stream on Thursday. And this is the red. It's good. But I wanted to brighten it up with orange. And I'm using the transparent orange, and it really does a nice job. Let me get some readers on here. Hey, Joe King. Hey, thanks, Roland Reggie. This palette idea, I don't know who first came up with it, but the first person to tell me about it was Adam from Tabletop Minions. We were at Gen Con, and he told me how great it was. I'm like, sounds like a great idea. So I think he had a video the following week or so, and he had these on there. So he had this plus, it was a 2-pack, this plus this. But what's great is it's very easy to clean. Like, I generally just let it dry and then pop it, and it mostly just pops out, especially standard acrylics. I usually go pretty low on the contrast paints, and so if it's thin, it kind of crackles and pops out. But you can easily clean it with a wet towel. But man, I love it. It is so fantastic. But this guy turned out really great. Really sharp. Pretty good on the webbing on the head. It's not perfect, but I'm not really worried about it. I think it's one of the better looking Spider-Man ones that I've done. And I think I showed this one on Thursday. I'm pretty sure I did, since I think I painted it all up. Finished it. I painted it the previous time I streamed it and worked on it more, and then wanted to go for this Sunburst guitar because his red costume. I thought, oh, let's try it. I wanted to even try to do it on the peg head, but it's very hard. I mean, people do this kind of stuff on smaller minis. I am not sure, like, I was maybe too much or maybe not enough medium. So I was using this medium here, Pro Acryl. I bought it in Dallas, I think, because we don't have any stores really local, but Lamian medium works the same, and it's a little thinner, so I probably should have just used the Lamian medium for this. The problem is, for me, the Lamian medium takes forever to dry. But I'm really happy with how these are turning out. This one really was fun, and I still am not quite 100% done. I have varnished it, but I want to put some gloss varnish on the guitar pick. I was trying to do a tortoise shell style guitar pick, but it wasn't really working out. I mean, I still can work on it some more, but it's really a detail nobody's going to see except me. But I really love this broken wall that he's standing on. It looks kind of like maybe a chimney, but I went in and it's really kind of hard to see, but I went in and painted it so that it was shaded, so the bottoms of the bricks were lighter, and then the shadow here, and it's there, but it's not quite as pronounced as I maybe had hoped. But it's turned out really great. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of more orange on this, and then I won't probably varnish it today on the stream, because I think I will. I want to let it dry a little more before I do it. So I had some issues. I had a lot of miniatures break on me. So I'm not sure. It's not that cold here in Southern California, but the Iron Man. So I'm painting some for a friend, and the Iron Man broke. Now I primed it, but you can see I pinned it. So I pinned through into the leg. So the back leg is pinned, I think. Yes. But the front leg is not. And it's kind of messy now. I mean, there's nothing I can really do about it. I could probably put some sculpt on, you know, but it's all blasting energy crap anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But it was painful. So I glued it back on. I used some, you can speed up the drying of cyanoacrylate with like Instaset. I've had this so long. It says Last Grenadier on it. It's Burbank and Northridge. Neither of those stores are around anymore. Still works, but man, is it messy. So I had to clean up a lot. But I have to figure out what I'm going to end up doing with this one, because you know I recently painted one where I dry brushed, and I really like that one. I might just do the same thing. But I had that one break, and then I had one of these other ones break, and you really can't, you can see it though, because his foot is broken in half here. And then the foot came out of this. Like, I just picked it up and it was falling. I was like, what's going on here? This was loose and this was broken. It might have taken a fall. I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm kind of nervous about the plastic, I got to tell you. And I am noticing, like, things are glued. I don't really know what this one's doing. I guess it's maybe trying to balance it. I am looking forward to painting this one, but I don't know. It's really strange. So yeah, that's been thrilling. And I've been using some small tubes of super glue, but this is gel. I don't really want gel. Because I kind of like it to be thin and to really take a grip. But anyway, so let's go here. These brushes are all dirty. I mean, they're not dirty, but it's not clean either. We try cleaning it a little bit. I have really been trying to organize the workspace. I got a new airbrush mount, the Iwata one, that's actually pretty great because it's more compact. The one I had like suction feet, and it was okay. I still have it over here by the spray booth behind me, but I was just nervous about it getting yanked off. So this new one is nice. I suppose I can show it after I clean this. It's definitely smaller. It has better holders for the airbrush, so they're less likely to slip out. I also, on the stream a couple weeks back, I airbrushed prior to the stream and then forgot to really clean it on the stream. And I had cleaned it out a lot. I did the whole bubbling and but you put your finger at the tip or a paper towel, or I had a rubber glove on, so, a latex glove, so, or not latex, but oh goodness, what is it? Anyway, and so you can delicately put your finger on the tip, and then it will back the bubble back up into the cup. And I did not go any further than that. Like, I mean, I cleared out, the water was clear, but when I was using it, it's funny, I noticed on the stream, I think that there was paint here and it didn't click. And then I used it yesterday, worked perfectly fine, I was able to do everything I needed. But boy, when I was cleaning it, it was dirty, way dirty in the nozzle. And I was a little disappointed that I realized, oh wait, I had forgotten to actually clean it out on the stream. It's not a big deal, but you should know how to clean them. But this is the new holder, and it's pretty great. It's got a very large jaw to clamp to a table. The rubber holders are awesome. I think the Art Workshop did a video on this one, and I'm like, oh, I like that one. And it's not terribly expensive. I think this cost me $21. You have to assemble it. It was pretty loose in the bag. We got it on Sunday, which is actually kind of frustrating. I wish they wouldn't ship this stuff on the weekend so nobody has to work to get this stuff. We were filming with Dave, and so was sitting outside for a little bit. But it's cool. It's good. It really holds the stuff. It prevents it from tilting back. You can actually squish the tongs a little bit to hold it a little bit better, and maybe I should do that. Although, boy, that isn't as easy as I saw it in the video. And the funny thing is one of these, this was a fatter airbrush here, but it is not, it kind of it rides lower in the holder. Let's see here. Oh yeah, the one's narrower than the other. But it's cool, and it seems like it's going to do a great job. I really needed something. I like the one I have. It's got mounts for 4 airbrushes. I don't generally use more than 2. Yeah, that airbrush is neat. That's the new Ultra, although you can't get this one anymore. This is the Squidmar airbrush, special one they did. And I watched Squidmar in the beginning. I don't watch him as much anymore. He does good stuff, but I thought, oh, I'll support him and do it and get one of these to see what it's like. I'm not really a big fan of gold, but we'll see how this goes. I love the friction fit cup. It's really nice. This one's designed to help people learn how to airbrush. One of the things you can't do is you can't pull the trigger back to activate the paint. You have to push down on the air, which is what you want first, so that air is flowing before the paint starts flowing, and that means you won't have any spatter. And I mean, I'm sure you can still have it, but it's great because it has, like, this is just wide open setting. This is to prime. So this is like the most amount of paint that you're going to need. Then you shift it to base. It pulls back a little bit more. I'm sorry, I'm not showing that correct. But that's quite a bit of throw there. Then this is probably the highest detail, the second highest, and then the, for doing the amount of flow. And it's really nice. It's this was €105 maybe, or something like that. The standard one is €95. I imagine it'll be about that price in the US for the standard one. I think they're great airbrushes. I'm pretty much into my Badger. I have a lot of Badger airbrushes, but I'm not, specifically focusing on just having a Badger airbrush, because I think their airbrushes, I've had them forever. My first one was a 150 IL that my parents bought me for like Christmas. And that seems like a lot of paint. And so I learned on that, and really, I think they're great airbrushes. They are. I'm also particular. My mom was saying, I was talking to her last night while I was cleaning it. It's like, oh, you've always taken care of that stuff, which is true. I definitely want to try to keep everything lasting. So this is basically like a layering or basically a layering technique where I am using so it's really kind of a glazing, but I'm just trying to amp up the orange a little bit. And then I just use a little bit of water to blend it in below that. But I like this. Now, I would like to get an actual orange. I mean, this is an orange, but a standard acrylic orange. I keep wanting to try to get the new Army Painter stuff, but it's really not ready You can pre-order it. I mean, people have been getting it, but it's not ready for retail. And I have no idea how long it'll take for the US to get it. I couldn't get, I still don't really have a lot of places that carry their stuff. You know, their older paints were only okay, I guess. I have some. I've had some. I do love their tone series. I like the strong tone, and you know, I have a lot of those. Well, actually not a lot, a few of those, because there's many colors. I really like their purple, and I guess they haven't really changed it. The new versions of the stuff is pretty close, so I won't have to worry about trying to get the old. I mean, I have some of the old shades from GW, and I ended up buying extras when they changed the when they were changing the formula, because I knew it wasn't going to be the same, which is fine. The new ones are pretty good. They're just a little bit more gloss than I like, but that's not a big deal. Hey, Circe, how's it going? Hey, go for it, painting. The backs of these are much darker, the undercoating. So, I'm not too worried about it. I don't really have too much to stress about it. Because if I really want to change it up, I could spray it and get a little bit of a bump in brightness. But it's really, you're looking at it from the front, right? That is the important one. So it's looking pretty good. The orange is, it's enough. But I would probably like to do some edge with an orange or a yellow. I have an okay yellow that I've been using that's an old HMG. So I've been saying recently, I think I mentioned it on the last stream, that I thought HMG, or is that who it is, in the UK was painting the minis? Not painting them, excuse me. Making the paints. And I don't think they, according to Stolly, Tale of Painters, he says they don't make them anymore. That's all taken in-house. I know that their gold was fantastic, the Retributor's gold. I don't know if it's still, I mean, my last bottle I decanted into this, but I really like that gold a lot. But the rich gold from Pro Acryl is really awesome too. But yeah, I would like to do some edges with it. Anyway, there you go. His face, it's weird, right? The mini's low, and you have to like look up at him, so it's going to be a weird one when you play, because he's definitely looking down. Spider-Man seems to be doing a lot of that. This one here, Spider-Punk, he's looking down too. So, but it'll look great. It's really a good looking mini, for sure. Thanks, Circe. I'm having fun painting them. But yeah, pinning is rough, and I'm concerned about these a little bit. Oh wait, you know what? I'm going to leave this on here, because that one is going to be varnished. And I want to do the whole thing and the edge. I need to paint. The edge is pretty close, but I need to paint the edge a little again, probably with just the black. And I definitely, hey, look, I got some red on there. I definitely prefer to just do it all in one go. So I used Black Templar for that. I used Black Legion for the body, and wow, it's a great black for the legs and the torso. So I love this Black Templar too. I think these are some of the nicest black speed paint contrast paints. But yeah, so they have new they're redoing all their airbrushes at Harder and Steenbeck. I have the Ultra there that I showed. I have an older, it's not that old, but I have an older Infinity. But they have a new Infinity design coming, which will probably fix the main problem most people had with that airbrush, where it wasn't, you had to pull the trigger quite a bit before the paint started to move. And I actually had to, it wasn't like a big deal to me, but when somebody pointed out, I was like, oh, well, that's probably one reason why I don't really love this airbrush. And so now I did fix that by putting a bit of PTFE tubing. Where's the little, oh, here it is. PTFE is Teflon. And put that at the back of the switch. I mean, maybe I can show you. Wow, why is that slid all the way over? That's gonna fall. I have too many airbrushes. I really need to use them more. I ended up, so there was for a while there before the pandemic, and maybe into the pandemic, Badger would have sales, which was awesome for their anniversary. So like, I think I got some on their 51st and their 52nd, 53rd. Maybe it was 52nd, 53rd. And so they were really good. And so I just decided to try more because I've been using them forever. So you can see in here, there's a little bit of tubing right here that I've added. This is, I don't remember who pointed it out on YouTube. I saw it a year ago. And it definitely makes a difference. Although right now it is not working at all. I think I had this problem the other day. No, that's weird. Maybe it's not, maybe this is just the limiter is too high. Certainly possible. Yep. I have no idea really. Huh. Oh, there we go. Yep. So yeah, there's a little button on the back. There's a lot to these airbrushes. They're very nice. Yeah, it's still kind of sloppy. It's really a downer. Everything about the airbrush is really nice, and this is a very nice trigger. But so yeah, there's a control here to do basically the same idea that this is doing. But it doesn't, I mean, in that case, it's what you're doing is you're using this to set up like a limit that you want to keep going to if you're doing something repetitive. And they're very nice, really great airbrushes. I love this, the ability to clean the needle very simply and then have some protection on it. And you can paint, what's nice about these just pop on, but you can paint without it. If you want, that lets you get very, very close to the material that you're painting, and you can do very fine lines. I don't generally do that much kind of painting. I'm not painting portraits or pictures, you know, landscapes. There's the art workshop, I think that is his name. There's a couple of them that I look at. He does really beautiful portraits and landscapes, but his portraits are ridiculous. And his hair, you know, he's using this type. He uses a lot of different airbrushes. He does have some of these, but he uses mostly some Iwatas, really high detail Iwatas to do that stuff. But he also uses Badger and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know if he just changes to like change it up because it isn't. It's not focusing. It's not really important to use a different airbrush. Just for me, I like to have multiple sizes available to me at once in case I want to do something like when I'm priming. Let's close that. I'm going to do that in a minute. But when I'm priming, when I get to the zenithal where I start to, let's see, here's a guy that's painted. So I do spray it black, then I spray it 45-degree angle all the way around. Then I do the zenithal from the top. But I will cheat and put more paint on the face because I want the face to stick out. You know, excuse me, I got hiccups. It's what you focus on. Boy, everybody's looking down on these minis. Anyway, but yeah, they're great. The Spider-Man ones do look down a lot. So let's do the base since I got the paint out. I did have to use I did have to clean the airbrush a lot. And the way like I said, I had a lot of paint in there. So what I used was, it was on this airbrush. This is the gallery one. I like this airbrush. It's great. It's just, I mean, I don't think that they should charge less, but to draw people in, they've already lowered the price. So here's the nozzle. And what I did is I used a paintbrush, because I had so much paint. There was way more paint in there than I used it and didn't notice it. But when I started cleaning, I was noticing, wow, there's some paint in here. So what I did is I used some alcohol, and then I just put the bristles in and twisted it around a little bit to clean it out. And that helped a lot. You really don't want to be too abusive to it because it's kind of soft metal. They have a new version. They have a lot of airbrushes. Gallery actually has a very nice $40 airbrush that is very similar to this. It just doesn't have the polished cup like this one, because it's very polished and it's really nice. I wish that the Harder and Steenbeck would do the same thing. Maybe they will on the top end ones, but it's much easier to clean them. Let's see what this one looks like. Oh, it was pretty good in there, but it's definitely not as polished as these. These are crazy, but man, it is a lot easier to clean these. It's so worth it. I hope others will follow suit. Anyway, but yeah, this is a smaller cup, which I love. I actually have another one that you put it in here, and it protects the threads is really what it's about, because you could just put paint in here if you want, but you don't want to get a lot of paint in the threads. And it's a little cup that literally is just the rim, and then you can put paint in with your paintbrush. And if you're doing small amounts of stuff with detail, that's fantastic. But it is pretty cool. Most of the stuff is interchangeable on these brushes. The nozzle in this is very similar to the nozzle in this. I mean, it's not very similar. It is the same. It may be slightly different because it might be another variation of it, but they are the same. And that is fantastic because you can really, swap parts around, get what you need, have not different diameter of needle and nozzle. So it's fantastic. They're really great, and that's really what makes it the choice for me as far as if you're I don't know. I feel I started with a good airbrush. It was not, I mean, this was in the 80s, and it's still a good airbrush. I still have it, but these are just so well manufactured. I think all of these are. They're making lots of really interesting advances on airbrushes, and the craftsmanship, the work on them is just phenomenal. So I don't know. I feel that they're worth it. You just have to. So I think the $40 version of this, it's like the 60 something. I think it is a good. It's probably a good choice to get started. These folks are now trying to sell parts, so it means it will be easier to care for these if you have problems. And they're not terribly expensive. I have not bought. I don't know if the needle is slightly different between this one and the one below it, because they have some sort of flexible steel. And I will say, I got this one. It had a slight bend in the needle, which I couldn't even see. I felt it when I dragged the needle across my skin, and I'm like, oh. And so then I pulled out a loop and saw the bend, and looking at through this, and I was like, well, I need to try to straighten out. So I straightened out, and it's not straight, but it's close. But it was still, what the problem with that is it's something to catch for the paint coming out. And so you build up paint on the tip of the needle, dry tip is what they call it, and it just was terrible. Like it not terrible, but it kept having issues, and paint would splatter and stuff. And so when I figured that out, I wrote them and said, because I just bought it before we went to Dallas in November, and I didn't get to use it till probably December, and I wrote them and said, hey, and they were great. They sent me a new one out, and it's in retail packaging, so there they are, trying to offer the stuff, and hopefully they'll have it in retail. I don't know, but I think the distribution center was here in Southern California, so I got it pretty quickly, and it's great. And the other one will still work, but I'd rather use the one that's not going to have any dry tip at all. I mean, you get dry tip, and that's the issue with both of those airbrushes. So I was explaining here, this one I can just pinch it and take the paint off the tip. both of these, I have to clean this one. This is great because you can put a brush in here in the hole and then clean the tip, which is good. It's protecting it. This is more like my Badger stuff, except my Badger did not have those big of holes, my old Badger stuff. And then this one, you have to actually take the whole thing off. Now, like I said, you can take this off in airbrush, so you don't even have to do that. But I do like to protect it because I am clumsy. So I generally will leave the nozzle cap on for these things. But they're all good. I've been using, I used this one once now, and I've used this a bunch now, and I think they're both very similar. They're both quite good and have similar quality. But, you know, I was kind of pitching the $50, $60 airbrush with a little compressor, which I still think is a great deal because you're getting a compressor and an airbrush for about $60, and a decent airbrush, not the best. You know, the gallery is made in China, but like some of them are just okay. I watched a video, I do not remember his name, I never remember his name, and he was talking about, I mentioned this last week, that he was using, his comparison airbrushes were one of these, an Infinity, and I believe it was very similar. It might have been the 2.0 nozzle, like I have. Well, I have actually a bunch of nozzles for this one. When I went to visit Annie and our friends Annie and Sebastian in Germany, I had them order me the smallest nozzle. I had a 2 and a 4, so I had them order me the 1.5 or 1.8. I don't remember what it is. Just to have it, you know, in case I wanted it. And it was a little cheaper to do that because it's not terribly expensive, but not that cheap either to buy the Harder and Steenbeck stuff in the U.S. I don't have any. There might be a couple places here in LA. I used to go to Carter Sexton, which isn't that far from me. I haven't been in ages. And that's where I actually got a bunch of my first airbrush stuff. Not my first, my second phase. I had a small compressor. Actually, I think my parents gave me like the canned air type of thing at the very beginning. And then I think quickly, like Christmas, they bought me the compressor. And it was a good compressor. But then I ended up getting, to be quiet, I ended up getting canned CO2, you know, bottles. And it lasts quite a long time and it's very quiet. And it's not uncommon to use that, but it's silly, right? You have to go to some place to have it filled. I actually went to Carter Sexton to have it filled, which was not instant. But I still have all that stuff, really great gauges and everything on. I've had that for 20-something years. It's a ton of time. Not to deviate from the great talk on the table, but we picked up Flamecraft after last Thursday's session and Verdant. Have you had a chance to play Verdant yet? We have not. Let me look and see. Hey, David. I know you're discussing airbrush, but when you have a chance, I'm thinking of buying a set of brushes to get more variation, as right now I have a basic set of brushes. Can you recommend a manufacturer for a decent set of brushes that are not super expensive? Well, I got a bunch of choices. So first of all, hey, Holland, it is the Man with the Golden Airbrush. It is a nice airbrush for sure. I haven't played Verdant, but boy, we loved Flamecraft, and I really love those minis. They're fantastic. They're worth getting. As far as brushes, David, there's not a brand I love. So, School Specialty Supply, I bought a bunch of brushes. Let me see if I can find them here. They keep asking me to give a review. I would say this is probably the style of brushes to get. I really like these. This is what I've been using mostly. I also have these Royal & Langnickel. Royal & Langnickel is an older company that has good stuff, but you find the bottle. I keep fantasizing it's right here, but it is not. Oh, there it is. I put it in the place it should be. This is really inexpensive. These paint brushes it's 144 brushes for 30, I think I paid as little as $25 for one of these, to like nearly 40. It's worth it in all those ways because it's a ton of brushes. So they come to a great point, They have long bristles, which is actually my favorite style for painting. But I will say the lowest numbers, the 1 and the 2, are just too short. They don't, you can even see there's like one right there that's not very, doesn't come to a point very good. Now, of course, these all have like starch in them to keep the point. They're pretty good. They're, you know, I especially love, and I feel it's not a bad deal because you get like, there's six of them at 100, so you're getting 24, I guess, of each brush size. You can see here, this one actually was where I was doing the orange on it a minute ago, so. It's okay. This is one of the small ones. This is a 1. This is the smallest one. It's okay. I just like longer bristles now. So that's a 1. Let's see here. There's a 1 here as well. This is 0. Look how long that is. And this is the 1. These are sacks. They're harder to find. I couldn't really find a good source until I found School Supply. But here they are comparatively, right? So this is a 0. And it's shorter than, you can't see that. It's shorter than the 1. It's a little beefier. Maybe it would be better at holding paint, but I mean, this one I actually used to, it's got the hairs messed up because I was using this one to clean the needle on the airbrush yesterday. So yeah, it's called School Specialty, and they charge like $5 or $6 for 6 brushes. These are pretty darn good. They're not as cheap as the Royal and Langnickel, but I would probably buy like another. I actually have way too many of the Royal and Langnickel, but I don't mind all the other ones for other things. I do things like you just saw me doing this, like just blending water with it, right? On the lower ones. But I love the 3 and the 4s a lot. They're more like, this is a 2, so they're more like the 2s, which is weird because here's the 2, is the yellow one I think here. Yeah, let's get that to a point. So yeah, it's still considerably shorter, right? I just like longer bristles. Now, that may be different for other people. I love, I've never really actually owned, from minis, I've never owned the longer bristle Winsor Newtons, and I'm sure they're great. I have some older ones. They're fantastic. Not older, but I have ones that I've had for a little while. But they are short. I mean, these are the mini ones, I believe. Let's see, what does it say? It doesn't necessarily mean it's mini for miniature painting. But that's really short. And I think that they're using different sable now. Like, they're not using the Russian sable, which, you know, is good. I actually don't really love that they use animal fibers for this stuff anyway. It's another reason why I don't mind the synthetic ones. Now, again, we're in this storm of synthetic, plastic and stuff. So I don't know what the real answer is, but I use them a lot, and I hold on to any of them that are even beat up. Because I was buying Zem. That might have been just before the pandemic. I can't remember. Zem is a brand that actually has some good style golden tackle, and these are all these except for this one are golden Taklon, which is just a synthetic bristle. This says finest sable. Well, this would have been before they would stop buying sable right now from Russia, but I do want to buy some longer ones just to have them. I used to have them when I was young because I painted with Winsor Newton brushes when I was younger because that was what my teacher at the time recommended, and I got into them and they were great, and they weren't that terribly expensive back then. I mean, they were not cheap. I'm sure they actually, if you account it for the day, because those are like $20-something. And I would like to get at least 1 or 2 to just try them again with the long bristles on minis, which I never used them for. Because I have switched. I still use some short bristle brushes. I use this detail. This is a 12-aught, so 12-0. It's very tiny. And this is low Cornell, which I'm not even sure. I used to buy them at Michael's, I think, or who's the other one around here? It's not Joanne, so it was probably Michael's. But they don't really carry much anymore. It's, again, I think you can do really well with the synthetic stuff, and they have some that are okay at the store. So you could go and get them. You just need to spend a little bit of money. But I think buying these Like the Royal and Langnickel is a great way to get started. Look, I mean, I have tons of these brushes. And the 2s look okay, the ones in the 2s. Some of them look longer, but I just don't think that they're long enough for me. Most of those are longer than a lot of them. And you know, when you have them, they do have a point, but like this one's messed up. I really messed up yesterday when I was cleaning the brush. But it wasn't great. That was why I was like, oh, you know, this will be fine. Because it's hard. Like I bring it to a point. It's not as fine as this one, so this was easier to get into the needle that I was cleaning yesterday. But then I realized, wow, this is a real mess. So I need to really clean it. And I was working at it. I actually used this brush, which is also a Saks one. I was using this one originally because it's really long. It's a 2, really long bristles. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of paint in there, and I didn't want to mess this up. So I switched to this one. That was actually how I did. I don't think I used this one. So yeah, there you go. There's a one. They didn't have, gosh, really, that is quite a different brush. Now this is white Taklon. I mean, you know, I don't know. It's a very long bristles. Let's see the 2 from them as well. I mean, we were just looking at it. What happened was I think there was like a delay on one, and so I ordered the golden, or I don't know, I might have just seen it all. I was just trying them all. I didn't have any of them. Sam Lenz used to use these. I don't know if he still does. He's a great painter. I don't know if he used these specifically, but he does use golden Taklon. And these are really nice. They hold a point. I'm starting to get a tiny bit of a hook here on this one. And the way you can supposedly deal with that is I need to put that airbrush back. You can get them very hot, put them in hot water, and it will straighten out. You know, like the memory of the fibers will straighten them out, and it's pretty good. And then you just put in. I do this all the time, so that might be part of the reason why they're okay. Is I use this brush preserver and cleaner. This is very old. This has got to be 30 years old. That shows you how long it lasts. And I'm just getting to the end, and it was all like dried up, and I'm like, oh wait, let me just compress this stuff together, and it's working. So I'm probably gonna get another half a year on that one. But I have this other one that I bought and was starting to use. It's old too, right? It has a barcode on it. The other one does not. But the newer ones are a little bit shorter, which is good. Although I think you're probably getting less soap than you are in this one, but it doesn't really matter. It lasts a long time. I also have the Gentastic's Drunken Brush Goop. It's pretty good too. I don't know how they make it or anything, but I just threw it in on an order from Monument Hobbies. I thought I'd try it out, and it's good. Anything is good. What you do is you clean it as best you can, and what I do is I'll show you because I still have some paint in here. Let me just finish cleaning this one. I try to, my problem is I'm, you know, when I get done here, I'm usually like in a rush to either have dinner or lunch, and so I don't necessarily do as great a job as I should, because normally I'm very, very meticulous, where I will just do clean the whole thing out, and then be done. And I did last night. I actually, when I was painting I had to prime those minis, and I did it till everything was done, and then went in. So yeah, I pull the paintbrush through this, and then I only clean it like this direction, pulling it across my palm, pulling out the paint. I do bend it a little bit so that the needle, the bristles are getting a little bit of a bend, but it does a pretty good job usually of pulling the paint out. And then, now I will do it real quick because I'm gonna do it this way, but it's pretty clean. I have so much water kind of things. And then I will pull it through again and twist it to get the bristles to a point, and then I let it dry overnight and things like that, and then, or whenever, you know, next time I get to it. And then I just clean it out again. It does have some stuff going on there. I mean, you know, I've used this now for 3 or 4 weeks. Now, a real sable, if you take really good care of it, could last you years. I mean, I have some Winsor Newtons floating around here somewhere from even high school and college. I just need to track them down. But yeah, I think they're great. School specialty was not too expensive. The shipping wasn't very expensive. I think I spent $50 some for like 5 packages of 6, or 6 packages of 6, or something like that. That's including shipping and tax, I believe. And I think it was $56. And that's not bad. I mean, you know, you get a lot of stuff. They're pretty darn good, and you maybe will get well, the good thing is you get good brush habits, and then maybe switching to a higher end brush, you know, go ahead and go like the Raphael or whatever. I've used Raphael because my friend Sebastian has them, but I've never bought any. I can't find, I mean, after going to Germany one year, I was trying to buy them because I liked them, and I couldn't track down a good source here in the States. And, you know, a lot of that was the pandemic. People went crazy for the hobby, and you just can't get the things easily anymore. You know, at that time, things are getting better. But, okay, let's see what this looks like. It's kind of splotchy on the edge. I don't quite get it, but maybe my first coat was not good. So I think that's ready to go. I will varnish it maybe at the end of the stream. We'll see here. I like to let it dry for quite a while. So I didn't end up using much orange as I thought. It's hard to get it out of there without going crazy. But yeah, so let me see if I have one of the Zem ones. Here we go. So this is another brush company that I got on. This one's been a while. I use these a lot. The crazy thing is you don't need a tiny brush. You just need your brush to have a good point, and then you could paint a lot of detail. And what's great about the larger brushes, this one's actually been pretty beat up a lot. This is Zem Golden Tackle Round 4. It seems to be roughly the same size as most of the other 4 brushes. I did not buy any 4s from the Saks ones because I have tons. The 4s. This is another one of the 4s from the. Got some red paint here with some fleck of red paint. These are the 4s from the Royal and Langnickel. I will say I do like having wood brushes. I don't know why it actually isn't preferred, but I have not really hated these plastic ones. But yeah, you can see this one's not really holding a point. This one still is. I've used this 4 a lot. These are the 2 4s I've used the most. This one is like splayed here. This is the ones I've used the most from the. I probably have one other brush that I've used. So they go a long time because I bought these 6, 7, 8 months, a year ago. I don't know, the Royal Langnickel ones. Yeah, this one is just not wanting to go together. So it's probably, this might be the oldest one. I should put some soap in it since I can do that right now. Let it dry. I won't be using it. But yeah, my goal, so I read that we're not getting the Marvel United till like June, the newest one, which is great for me because I really want to try to get through all of these before those, or at least the bulk of them. I'm very close, sort of, on the first series to being done, and I've started the X-Men ones a little bit, and then of course I have these Spider-Geddon ones that were actually the latest stuff, but the first to come out. So like the latest, well, whether it's the latest, it was the later things revealed in the campaign, and they said they would be selling it instead of offering you to buy it and pay for the shipping early. And it's sad because it didn't really get out until December. I saw a post about it. I did not, let me look real quick. I did not see it as being available. Because I looked in December trying to get a copy. Now that maybe I'm looking on Amazon, and maybe that's just not available there. That's certainly possible. Marvel United Spider-Geddon. It is there, 35 bucks. So I really like them. I think the minis are great. Probably my favorite batch of one box. The Penny Parker was one. Spider-Man Noir. Spot. I don't know all the names, so be prepared for me not to know them all. Spot. Symbiote. I don't know Venom well. Another Spider-Man guy. Silk. So that's 6 of them. Let's get to the pictures. That'll also help me get the names. Moreland is this one here. I think I might be painting him today. That one was Spider. This is Spider. Superior Spider-Man. That's what this one is. And then Spider-Punk. And what is this one here? He looks like he's Symbiote Spider-Man was one of those. Some of these actually might not be. Oh, so this is Symbiote Spider-Man. He's pretty cool. That one is Scarlet Spider-Man. Okay. He's got a cool piece of architecture he's on. Oh wow, it really is different. That is so funny. You look at the sculpt of this. This is obviously the released Spider-Man. Look at the one on their Kickstarter, and it is different. Like this looks different. I mean, you know, that's 3D printed. The ones that they paint on during the campaign are 3D printed. But it is weird to me how different they can be. Moreland, what was this one? Is he actually part of it? There's Silk. Penny. Punk. This is Anti-Venom. Okay. It looks different there too. The face is the head is bulkier. You know, part of the deal is they design it and then they 3D print it, and then getting it to be a mold, it's sometimes a challenge. You know, they're doing all of this well in advance of the molds being made, probably. Anyway, 10 minis, really cool stuff. Probably some of the best ones. I'm not even crazy for Spider-Man, but I really liked these a lot. I really like Spider-Man Noir. And I think that they're, what did I determine his name was? Oh, Scarlet Spider. I like his like hoodie. Let me make sure I have them all together. There's 8, 9, 10. Okay, so yeah, 10. It's worth it. $35, you know, not that bad considering. And I think the game's fun. Now I have not played, hey, I just put that brush that is sitting in the soap to be dried. Let me put that away. They are, it's a fun game. I've not played the new one, but I'm eager to. That's why I want to get them done. I would like to maybe do this on a game night soon. That is not clean either. Okay. Yeah, Verdant. Who did Verdant? Let me look that up. That one looks interesting to me. The one that I also want to try is Leaf. I'm glad that Spider-Geddon is available. It was frustrating because I bought it in August and I was trying to show it off, you know, but I couldn't. Oh, it's Flat Out Games. They're great. Need to try it out. Yeah, those folks really are doing some great stuff. Let me know what you think of it. Okay, so let's get on to, maybe I'll do Moreland, or maybe I need to do something different. Done a lot of Spider-Man. This jacket is purple, at least in the picture I remember seeing, and I think I want to go for that, but I have to be cautious about how intense I go with the color. Plus, he has a whole bunch of flame. Like, there's all this fire. And I may end up... Let me do this one later. I'm probably going to airbrush a bunch of this. I'd love to do it on the stream, but I'm really afraid of it getting in the camera. I have the little spray booth. I usually spray outside, although I have really gotten to start spraying indoors. I mean, it's cold, you know, for us anyway. And so I really don't want to mess stuff up. And it's really noisy when you use the thing. So I guess I'll be painting some Spider-Man here. Scarlet Spider. I don't know anything about the Scarlet Spider. It's funny, I got all these pictures. It's weird, I wonder why I didn't get them. But I got them all just after we were at Gen Con. I mean, obviously, because I wanted to get on them. So yeah, it's cool, it looks cool. So we'll use this paint handle. Let's see how I can do here. So he's literally just, what's really great, no webbing, so it'll be a little easier to paint. I'm going to use that one red and maybe some of that orange I already have out. The Big Child Creatives is really good. Their paint jobs are really nice on these paints. I'm glad that Flamecraft is available. It was hard to get when we actually did the video. Okay, a lot of red. I'm always nervous. Like, the red is the challenge. Did I do that with multiple coats on that? I think I did. Another reason why I like to start, I have never done this, but one reason why I like to start with the face is if I mess up the face, I can easily just start over cleaning it up or whatever, and have not wasted any time on the rest of the body. I generally feel the rest of the body works out okay. This has he's got looks like a blue hoodie. It dries pretty dark right off, you know. I still haven't gotten the red that I wanted from Army Painter's speed paint line. I need to get that just to see how it goes. Some friends were going to bring a bottle of it for me when they visited, and they ended up not being able to come out, so I was like, oh, you know, because our store nearby carries some of the Army Painter stuff, but not any of the speed paints. They have the full contrast line, and they don't have a lot of space, so it makes total sense to not spend the time on it, you know, the shelf space on it. It's got some red on his jacket, very disappointing. But you can easily touch it up because it's on the inside of his collar here. I'm not even sure I will even touch it up because it may not be visible. I'm kind of sad that the jacket is blue because that is like the Spider-Punk. Now there's a lot of paint inside there now. Oh, I'm Joe S. I'm using, this one is the Ball Red contrast color. It's a great paint. I really like their stuff. So I've just got a little bit of water on the brush, and I just sprayed it all over, got it all over the place. It's okay though, because like I think his arms are red. Yeah. I just don't really want it to be too strong on here. I can touch it up with a little bit of white. But I used, my undercoats is the Stynal Res from Badger airbrush primers. They're great. I do want to try some of the other ones at some point, but I'm in no rush because I have a lot of the Badger to go. I bought the large 16-ounce bottles. I don't know that you need that. Depends on how much you're painting. I thought I would be blowing through it. Now I have used like a third of the bottle maybe now, but I've had it for quite a while. And it goes a long way. Now I have done some priming with rattle cans, and it works great. But I like to go to black. And I'm sure the Chaos Black is great from GW. I don't know if I've ever used it. But I just feel you have way more control with the airbrush. It is the best, one of the best uses of an airbrush. There are others. But for mini painting, it's pretty phenomenal to get as much another reason to paint inside is I'm making a mess above it, and I can touch that up. I generally feel that you have no problem. Some of this is going to be silver, probably. It is. And I will use the silver paint. Ooh, I just put that right into the center of that. But you know what? That's supposed to be red. Let's see if I can just do it now. I've used this with the red before. Probably on that one. Boy, I really kind of made a mess on that hoodie there. I'm going to have to fix that. I feel. Now the blue will go pretty good over the red, but I don't want to mess that up. I really spent some time cleaning the flashing on this, and I still see there's some on the arm here that I didn't notice. I think I'm just trying to cover too much. I mean, there's a lot of minis, so I probably shouldn't sweat it, but it is a bummer. Because I cleaned his head. I don't see the raid. Oh, boo. Hey, CBS Inc. Oh, hello, how you doing? There's no black border around his eyes. Interesting, wow. Thanks, first time. Oh, from a raid? You had a raid, maybe? There we go. Thanks, Thrallhammer. Thanks for following. It doesn't have black around his eyes. Let me look at that picture. Of course, I'm using, oh, it has black around his eyes. Interesting. Well, I will paint that red. I mean, CBS Inc. probably knows better than I do about the, I don't know Scarlet Spider, but thanks for the follow, Potato Games Official. Ugh, This is a cool mini though, for sure, but boy, I've kind of made a mess already. So let's see if I can do this. I've only ever done these with black. Thanks for the follow. Hey, it showed up. Darn it. Darn it, I'm missing it. Well, thank you for the follow. I don't know what. Chime in. Gosh. That looks cool though, all red. I mean, believe me, I like it to be different. It is too much of the same for me on a lot of these, but I really like the minis. They're awesome. Well, let me finish this arm here. Although, again, this is, I said last week, this is a, hey, Kantok. Hello from Mexico. How you doing? Oh no, these minis aren't custom. These are, this is the latest batch from CMON. This is the Marvel United Spider-Geddon new set. It's been out. It just came out last month, I think, finally in retail. I mean, it was not a Kickstarter. This one was not Kickstarted, but it took a while. I was able to get early copies I bought one at Gen Con, and they were supposed to come out with it in October, and it ran into some problems, and so it didn't make it till December. I'd actually looked in December and missed it because I looked on Amazon. I mean, it's not the greatest place to always go, but they generally get the stuff. And they didn't have it, but I just looked today and it is available on there. We had folks from CMON over when we did Dark Providence, Cthulhu Dark Providence, which is a re-implementation of Martin Wallace's Study in Emerald. Really fun. I never played the original Study in Emerald. I'd love to try it. We really loved the new one, but we don't have it. They brought it and had to take it. Yeah, Potato Games, their minis are awesome. I mean, here's the Scarlet Spider that I painted last week, and he is really cool. And they're fun, you know, they're not small. Let me show you a Marine that I have from GW. And this is actually a pretty big Marine. Well, here you go. Here's a painted, I can pick one of these up. Here's a painted, this is pretty big. Painted Termagant from GW's new set of stuff from their latest box army. This is not from Leviathan, which it is, I'm sure it's in Leviathan, but this is from the base game, the introductory set. But this is great. This is, I just like big heads and eyes. This is Spider-Punk, painted his guitar. It's really awesome. I've never really done much sculpting. I did a little. I used to do conversions more. You don't do them as much with GW. This is Spider-Man Noir. He's really cool. Hey, Time Roller. I really like this set of minis. This is Penny Parker. She's almost done. Spider-Man Noir is done. Her skin is not bright enough, but I'm just going to probably go with it. This is Silk. It's really great. They're just fun. Really fun minis. I feel pretty great to get started, so you can learn how to handle your brush a little bit and paint some details. I love to paint the eyes. I'm not great at it for some reason. I mean, I'm better at these eyes than I am for smaller versions of minis, but I still have, I just run into issues. I just don't get it. Well, mostly I run into issues when I'm on camera. I definitely have a little bit more luck. when I am not on camera, but that's partly because I'm trying to hold it in a specific manner, but it's still strange. Like, it's not that different. Hey, Chad. Hey, Chad, Trasharama, thanks for this, the subscription. 29 months, okay, cool. Chad is, we love Chad, I haven't seen him for a little while. He helps run our Discord server, of which I am not on enough. I don't use Discord that much, but people love it. I mostly used it during the pandemic because we would run our, BGG had some online conventions and we played some games and stuff like that. We didn't do it as much, Nikki and I didn't do it as much as we'd hoped, but we played some games on that, and we also, I painted with some friends from Germany on a Discord chat. You know, that was really fun. Oh, I just totally messed up his eyes. What the heck was I doing? Did I touch it with my hand? That's so funny. Sitting there all trying to be perfect. Oh well. Let's get a clean brush in there. Pull off as much as I can. So, you know, on Spider-Man Noir, Joe's asking on YouTube, what I did is I airbrushed him. So this, I'm just gonna let this dry. I have to touch up those eyes. I'm bummed because it was looking good, being sloppy. So I airbrushed him with a zenithal highlight. What you do is you paint the entire miniature black. Here's an example. I painted Iron Man, a new version of Iron Man, a new model of it that I have. And you just paint it as black as you can get it everywhere. I can see I missed a little bit right there. Now I can touch that up with a brush, it won't matter. Then you run, I do it, you don't have to, but I airbrush at a 45-degree angle. Wow, this is not focusing. I airbrush at a 45-degree angle with gray. So you want the black shadows to still be there from, you know, theoretically below where the light is not showing. Now, of course, this is a nighttime guy, so I didn't do it as bright. Then I did, so I did the gray all the way around at a 45-degree angle. Then I sprayed it from the top with white. Again, this one it's a nighttime thing, so I didn't want him to be too bright. And so I didn't go overboard. So sometimes, like on this one, Moreland, I did that whole thing, and then I really focused on his face because I wanted his face to be bright. So I put more white on the faces often to do that, to improve that. And then I just went in and touched up things. So I went and did a lot of like little highlights on his, gosh darn it, it's not in focus. I did a bunch of highlights on his clothes and his face, the goggles he's wearing, and the, you know, the, what is that cable called? Grappling hook. And it turned out great. It looks really, really neat. It's a great miniature. And, you know, I went and did a little bit of gray, painted gray on his, the headband of his hat, his fedora. Turns out really cool. Let's see what I did here in the mess. Wow, I really did mess it up. It was so great. I'm so clumsy. I try to get the bulk of the paint off so that when I come back and paint it with some white, it doesn't have to do as much coverage. Red is hard. It's one of the worst ones to cover. And I've done a terrible job here. I'm excited though to do it all in red, since that is what Scarlet Spider-Man is. Very cool. Well, I will touch that up later. Ugh, that is really messy. Okay. That's funny though. It's again, I'm painting large eyes and I can't even do it when I'm on camera. I tend to just somehow, I know it comes to how I'm holding it. It's got to be. Yipes. Yeah, these are really fun miniatures. I have so many of them. I've backed every campaign, and this was the latest one that they've released at retail, and I was very excited to get it just because they really looked like a lot of fun miniatures. Hey, I just got red all over his hand. Is his hand red? Let's hope, since I'm clumsy. Yes, it's red, so let's just paint it. Really being clumsy today. I really love the contrast paints. I know, you can better your skills with acrylics to get started with it, but it's not a terrible thing. I used to paint minis entirely with standard acrylics and with oil enamels like crazy. Back in the day, when I was young, I painted minis with enamels because acrylics weren't as cool, as exciting yet. Although at the same time, I was using acrylic paints for paintings. It was pretty great stuff and pretty bright and colorful, and I airbrushed it. So I don't know. I should have just moved on to it sooner because I really like it. It's much faster. I'm not. Wapelius is a painter here on YouTube. He's a painter, but he also streams on YouTube, and he's great. He paints in oil paints. Not necessarily all the time, but he's fantastic. And he does, I will sometimes rate him because he's often streaming in the evening, like when I finish. He was doing some of the Shatterpoint miniatures. What is going on with that arm? Oh, it's red, okay. Again, I'm painting, it's supposedly wrong, so who knows. But he was painting some of the Inquisitors from Shatterpoint, and he had like the lightsaber glow and like maybe lava or something, a low OSL light, and he did it all in like 3 hours or so with oil. And you just keep going because oil, it doesn't dry, but you don't have to wait. It's not like you can just keep painting and I can't over-applied it there. And I'm just jealous. I would love to do it, but I don't love working with oil paints. I don't like the spirits. I have to breathe them, and I don't really like to breathe them. I don't like to breathe a lot of the acrylics. The undercoating is particularly smelly. Not that bad, but it is still kind of smelly. I've done such a messy job. I was really excited there. I will fix it though. I definitely still try to make sure I'm as clean as possible, even though I'm not doing such a great job on this one, because it definitely makes it easier to, you know, like painting these eyes. Now, I would probably put a little bit of a highlight and then a little bit of darkness at the, depends on what you're looking for, but I'm going to burn through this red, but it's just easier, you know, as best as you can, but you don't have to kill yourself. It is not hard to fix it, especially, now white is rough for me. I'm not a huge fan of painting white because it's very chalky. And this is, I'm using one of the better acrylic whites out there from Peracryl, and I do agree that it's great. It's the best one I've used, but it's still not, I'm just not successful with it, is really what it is. I don't have my technique down on it. And maybe I shouldn't be just using, I used distilled water on that one to thin. I don't usually worry about the water too much, but I was trying to like improve things with the, with that white, and any white, because I've just had the worst luck with whites. And that one's been pretty good, but there's a hair stuck there. Let me do that, clean it real fast. Oof, not that. Too much red. I have a reservoir over here that I can use to get water. Sorry. Quickly and clean it all out. Boy, that is little hair. I airbrushed that, so I don't know where that came from. That is gone. Too much water. Whoa, too much paint. Thanks, Crimzono. I got too much paint on his foot. It's getting on the... Well, that was because there's too much water in the brush, so it's not really that red. But it is red. More red that I have to deal with. I'm not having such great luck with the red today. So one thing you can do, which I suggest to some, and probably I should be doing, you can varnish between coats and to like control the paint. One of the issues is with like when I did Kingpin, I painted pinstripes on his, so I'm doing pretty good here at getting the paint off. I just don't want to, because here's the deal. I like the shading that's going on here. I don't want to destroy it too much. I can do some of it, touching it up, no problem. But that'll be pretty good. So Kingpin, I think he's still here. I painted his pants with pinstripes. And so I wanted to not stress about it. So what I did is I put varnish on and then did a pretty good job. Only had a few mess ups, but it cleaned up really easily because the varnish, it's hard to get the paint to stick. Not hard, but harder. Heck, I had a hard time with the varnish sticking on Spider-Punk's pants. Like, this is a very matte varnish that I have, and it was just pooling up, particularly back here. Might be a little too flat. So I should fix do all the red around his eyes and then fix the white. It won't be that hard. But yeah, you got to be careful with the amount of paint. I try not to put too much on, but I actually cleaned that in a rush because I was trying to clean stuff up and I had too much water in there still. And you definitely don't want too much water. It'll dilute the color. The best way to thin the not thin it because it still makes it thick. It's still the same consistency. The best way to reduce the intensity of the color is to use contrast medium, which I was contemplating using here, and I almost feel like I wished I had now with all the crazy problems I'm having here. Because it wouldn't be quite as intense, the color. But I do want this red ultimately. It's not like I'm looking for it to be thinner than that. So ultimately it's perfectly fine. Cool. Scott bought one of those Marvel reference books for all the characters. There's been multiple editions of it, like a encyclopedia of the looks. And I was talking about getting it. I did not get it, but I should, because it would be great to have just, you know, Chad, CBS Inc. was telling me that that the red Crimson Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider-Man, does not have black outlines. And, you know, that's cool. I'd like to get it. I mean, I generally follow the Big Child Creatives paint jobs just because I don't really know the stuff about them. But it's cool to get them. And I've made some decisions based on, you know, the Marvel movies or whatever. I painted Gamora's hair red instead of, I think they wanted it green. I might be wrong on that. But she had green skin. I'm pretty sure that, or maybe she had dark hair. I don't remember. But I wanted red hair, crimson, you know, like a scarlet hair or burgundy hair. Okay, so let's finish the eyes, around the eyes. And then try to fix this mess. Oy. I probably should have waited before getting to his eye. Now that hand is wet. Let me see if I can do this a different way here. Just to get that lining as best as I can. A lot of minis stuff was revealed at the Las Vegas Open, which was this last weekend. I kind of would like to go. I've never been to the Las Vegas Open. I have been to Games Days back in the day. They don't do them in the United States anymore. I don't even know if they do them in the UK anymore. They were GW events. It was. I was wondering if it was more than one day, but it is called Games Days, so I think it was. We only went for one, and I imagine that was it. But Nikki and I went to Ontario, and it was great. It was a fun event. It was really cool meeting a lot of the the creators at GW. Nikki was into the Vampire Counts, and the folks that had worked on that, some of the folks that had worked on that were there. Okay. What a mess. I do 3D printed models, Crimzono. I have a 3D printer to my left right here that I use. I have not done a bunch. I've done a few things. I've done mostly parts for my, I've sculpted a few things in 3D tools. Where are those parts? Oh, here they are. But I've mostly been working on things which I haven't even worked on for a while because I was supposed to play it with Aaron because he was very excited, but we haven't gotten to it. I 3D printed parts for Gaslands. And so, you know, we use like Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars or others. And so the tires are always terrible. So I found these on Thingiverse, and they are great. And it's a really cool. I love I've never done really too much stuff. I have a 3D FDM 3D printer as well, but I've never done much to boy, that does not look right. I've not done that much to with that, mostly just with the resin printer. I really like them. So what I do is I do it with alcohol. I don't have the water-based. It's not water-based resin, but it cleans with water. I want to try that, but I have a lot of resin, and so I have a Elegoo 3D printer with a cleaning station, and I actually use that cleaning station. I also use like a little bucket. They have a pickle bucket that was recommended on some video I watched. Here it is. This actually works great too for smaller stuff, but it's got acrylic. It's got you can see it's got a little bit of resin at the bottom, but it's got a little basket, and you put it in there, and I just will lift it out of the put the pieces in the bottom of that, and then spin it around and pull it out for a little while. And then it also has a curing station. Although I have cured many things out in the sun, we generally have good sun here in Southern California. But I really like it. I want to actually do more of that stuff. You know, this is all like diminishing returns as I get older, but I was joking about, you know, because it's like, you want to do it. So Eric Martin did a video 2 weeks ago about getting out of the anticipation mode and focusing more on dealing with what he has now. And like he has books that he's carried around from house to house, and they're getting ready to move again. I'm sure this is where this all came up. And I'm in the same kind of mode. I have so much stuff. I don't really need more. I mean, I am buying the rest of these Marvel United minis. I will be getting those. I mean, I say rest, who knows? They might have another Kickstarter too soon. I'm hoping, I really pray that they will do a Star Wars one. So yeah, I do a really good job of cleaning them. I will brush them a little bit with a toothbrush maybe, or a paintbrush, and then I let them cure. I try to do all that, as much cleaning as possible before I cure it. And then I generally get really good results. I'm very happy. I've done some minis. What else do I have here? I actually have like a cow catcher thingy that I'll put on a car here at some point. But yeah, I mean, that really, it looks great, and it's going to be great on the car. I mean, resin printing is amazing. It's not really that hard. I did a cool thing for a board game called Under Falling Skies. I made the mothership. Where is that stuff? Hey, thanks for the J Cool Blue. Thanks for the follow. Where is that stuff? Anyway, they're really awesome. 3D printed that. It's just like the bottom of a space. Well, it's half of a spaceship that you put on the thing, and you're moving that down on the board. It was really, really fun. That was actually done by, I think it was put together by a friend of mine. I know it was Harold, Dear Harold from Finland. And it is amazing. But I tell you, I think, you know, airbrushing does a great job. Earlier, Joe S. was asking about Spider-Man Noir. The bulk of this was done with airbrushing. I mean, I did do some edge highlighting and things like that, but the major part of this was that way. Same thing with, that was actually my first breakthrough on that. I was like, why am I painting the white? I did it on the Kingpin here. And I'm like, he looks fantastic. I did come through with a brush and do a little bit more accentuation of like the folds in the fabric and things, but it really turned out amazing. And it's like, I did have to touch, I had a bad day on that one too, and I had to touch it up while I was working on him. Like, I got some of his skin tone on it, which is a bummer. So what I really probably should do the next time I do that is prime it, varnish it. Then I won't have those problems. And you can still paint over the varnish. It's perfectly doable. Let's see if I can touch up that eye. I cleaned up the white, or mixed up the white. Oh, thanks, Chad. I really like this one. I mean, you know, I definitely did some work on him to make him like pop a little bit, because, come on, focus. There we go. But you know, the airbrushing really brings you a lot. It just does so much shading for you. What was the one I did recently? I did another, I think I put it away. I worked on another Taskmaster, and I was, instead of coloring the coat, I'm like, I'm just gonna go with this. And I was very happy with the airbrush. This is for Spider-Man, excuse me, Marvel United Spider-Geddon. There are 10 minis for this game. I really like them all. This was Spider-Punk I did last week. And then Superior Spider-Man. And you know, again, the zenithal highlighting does a lot. I did a little bit on the edge of the stone here, but that's just the airbrushing. It really is neat. And then Penny Parker, I'm still not quite done with it, but it's close. I did do something different on this. I tried to, you can see it's a little bit on her hand and stuff like that. I tried to do it all with the undercoating with metallic, and it's good, but I think I might prefer the dry brush ones. I don't have the Iron Man that I did dry brush one. It's really great in the undercoating. So instead of doing the airbrush, I dry brushed the silver on, and I feel the end result might be a little bit better. Hey, I noticed I missed a little bit of red there on her, by her foot. But yeah, they're cool. I love it, and I love the airbrush, how quick it does, right? So what it does is it's doing all of the shading, and then you put this paint that's really quite transparent, and you'll see the shading, right? You know, his legs are darker because the light's coming from above, and so he's brighter on top and darker under his arms. And it translates. I mean, my favorite one is the Daredevil one. This is the first one I used that new red on, and I really like it. I love the shading. It looks dynamic, and it has the, you know, and it's me just putting the red on it. I might have done 2 coats. I need to fix his little horn there, but what is going on there too? But yeah, I didn't finish this one yet. I need to finish it. Whatever that was. Might have been plastic. I mean, you know, these are put together. They glue them together. I had a little bit of trouble with this. You can see it's a little speckly on the base. It's okay. It's stone, right? So it would be fine. And it's a plant. I think those are some leaves there. No, it's all part of like a crushed winged animal there, like a Pegasus or something. Yeah, it's tough. You know, you can. This is much smoother. I had a better time airbrushing this one. So let's touch up that white. Ooh, Marvel Zombicide Raynardar. I have some of that. I did not back it. Scott was telling me, you know, like, you should have just BGG buy it, we'll make some content with it. But the thing is I'm frustrated with these larger things that, that's too much white. These larger things that CMON does, because you can't get them all. I mean, there's some great stores out there that will buy those off a Kickstarter. They'll back them and you can get them. And, you know, usually it's not that terribly more expensive. Let me make sure there's no red in here. The issue is, I probably need a little black. I just, you know, if you can't get them, it's no fun. And I have all of these. And so, you know, I've been painting them on the stream, but it's not like we're going to really do everything on the show. And I've never played any Zombicide, so I do want to try it. Ugh, too much paint. I mean, the zombicides I would be interested in. I mean, I like zombie stuff, but the ones I'd be interested in are the Invaders one or whatever it is, because I like that kind of. I'm into 40K, and it seems like it's 40K stuff. But I do have some of it. So Scott actually backed the full thing and then part of another, and so he had, and he's like, you know, he kind of got it for the library, but we're never going to use it in the BGG library, you know, because people won't play it like that. And I'm not even sure how many people in, I mean, there'll be some people that want to play. We have some of the stuff in there, but we just don't have just a couple of the boxes. So like there's 2 main boxes, I guess, in that last run, or that run of it. So I have those, plus I would love to have the I'd love to have that Galactus. I'm very excited about the Galactus for this one though, because I saw it at Gen Con and it's amazing looking. But I am excited to try to paint them. I was really smitten. My problem was as I was looking at the campaign, I'm like, oh well, I have to get the Spider-Man and then the zombie version. I'm not Spider-Man example, Captain America or whatever it was I was looking at. I'd have to buy, you know, a ton of different sets because it wasn't like in the main box, and that just turned me off. I get it. They want you to do that, but I can't, to be frank with you, I just can't buy that many more minis. I'm never going to get them all painted. And as much as I love doing it, it's still too much. Just touched it. That looks pretty good. I did a decent job of touching that up. Kind of exciting that it's red. Looks like I made a little bit more white right there. Not really sure what's going on there. Have you been painting much, Chad? Trash Rama? They do. I mean, his wife, Doris, has won some events. Chad might have too. He paints a lot, I'm sure. He's probably better than I am. What did I do with that brush? Is that it? I threw it out. I just tossed it away. I've never painted for competition. I'm just not built for that. I don't really. Number one, I'm not that great of a painter, and I mean, but the way you get better at that stuff is you do need to do it. This is the Pro Acro White. It's good. Hey, Funny Rage 30. Thanks for the follow. So there are new paints in the, I have a couple of bottles actually, of the Army Painter Metallics in the Speed Paint Metallics. I've tried them, it's very nice. I have not, I think that I watched a video from, that's why I bought them, from Vincent Venturella, and he was saying that he was testing me, he thought they were very good. Like, he's very particular about his metallics. And it's too light. And I would love to really experiment with it, but he was painting them on different intensities, backgrounds, right? And I think he was doing it at Zenithal, and they look great. I used it a little bit. What did I use it on? I used it on, oh, it's put away again. The Taskmaster. Anyway, that looks pretty good. And the reality is you don't have to really kill yourself on the, actually these are white, I believe. Yeah, they are. I will line them with some color, with some darker colors. But yeah, you can touch it up and then put the color over it, and you really won't notice it. Is that it's like a gray belt, white gray belt. So in other words, I'm probably going to leave it alone for the most part. Wonder what that's about. There's some edge highlighting. Let's see if I can do some of that. Ugh. Not wet enough, not dry, not too, and too much paint. Kind of a double whammy here. I don't actually have both my hands, elbows on the table, and that's a problem. Thanks for the it on the shark. Thanks for the follow. Goodness gracious, that edge is like messy too. I need some more Q-tips out. Well, let's paint the blue. The jacket is a pale blue. Well, at least this seems to be. It could be white for all I know. Let me look at it. Looks blue to me. It kind of looks like the Spider-Punk though. Yeah, I really like it, but I'm bummed that it's too many of this. I mean, you know, a lot of these are inspired by kind of things too. Oh, that's right. These are his strings for the pulls for his hoodie. Forgot about that. You can't see it. Right here. It's really fun. Okay, well, let's paint some blue. I might try to do some belt highlights. So I used, I didn't actually use the Night Haunt Gloom the last time. I used it for some highlights on that one. Let's try that for this and see what we get. How does Marvel Zombies Zombicide play? Is it worth picking up? I don't know yet, Funny Rage. I want to try it out. These are from Marvel United. And I have the game. As I said, I was saying earlier, I got a couple of the things from that. I actually bought the base, very base game for like $20-something on Amazon. So it's a smaller version with maybe like 4 or 6 minis. And I'm like, oh, that'll be enough. And then of course Scott was like, well, do you want that? I'm like, oh shucks, I guess I do. So you know what I am going to do? I am going to thin this out a little bit. I think Night Haunt Gloom was, I thought maybe, was it one of the technical? I have it right here. What am I talking about? Yeah, see, there's a technical paint version. It's thinner. Actually, what I should be doing is putting the contrast medium down first. I like to, like blues I have the biggest trouble with. Where I think that they just, I have to figure out how to quite get it to work for me. But yeah, Night Haunt Gloom was a technical paint. I used it on these minis, I think. Because this was like, I painted this in like 2018. And it's different. They've changed it. It is now part of the contrast paints, and that is what I'm using here. We shall see. I put that lid on. I don't think I'm done. A little bit more contrast medium. Gilliman Blue. Which one is Gilliman Blue? Do I have it? I have Gilliman Flesh. Maybe that name's not right. Funny Rage. I have a few of them. I have far too much blue. I feel all these paint ranges have too much blue, too much green. It's okay. I mean, I don't generally buy all of them anyway. I bought a good chunk of the first range of the Citadel, and then they sent me, because I was talking to them that I was going to be painting the minis. Like, oh, do you want us to send you the latest stuff? I'm like, sure. And so they gave me all of those, and that was the shades and the new shades and the new contrast paints, and they're great. But I also don't love to mix color. I mean, I actually mix colors all the time. You missed the noir? Oh, I'll show you right here. It was just when I had painted it earlier, a long time ago, a couple months ago. But he turned out really cool. Because literally, it's mostly painted with the airbrush, and then I came in and did the highlights with the, went on the edge of the bricks a little bit here, and then came in and did like his night vision glasses or whatever, and it turned out great. I was a little disappointed initially with the mask, because I had some problems with this portion of the mask here, and then I touched it up and fixed it, and it worked out fine. I looked at it like the day I painted, I'm like, oh, and I think I didn't give it enough time to like dry out. It's a nice dark blue I use for ultramarines. Oh, okay. Glaze. Oh, is it one of the is it actually one of the glazes? I don't know, I have to figure that out. Thanks for the advice, though. I wish I had the Druki Violet, the original shade of that. It's changed a little bit too, and they had huge bottles. That was the other great thing. You could get, like I showed you, the Nightheart Bloom was a very large bottle. Okay, this is the only blue I'm doing, so I feel like I've been using this brush, but it was awfully dry. Let's see, where's the other one? Yeah, it is the one I've been using. This is really a gray blue. It kind of looks like it did. It's not quite the same color. Of course, I was doing that on a white. I think we primed those white. Sebastian is very big on priming the minis to the color you're using if you can. I mean, he's just a fast painter. He's oops, I just stuck it in there. Did I do that previously? I just might have. Let me close that up so I don't use the straight paint. I don't want to get it on the poles, because I want those to be lighter. Yours is a little, which one's smoother? Well, definitely thin your paints. If you're having a problem with it being a little rough, I actually had a little bit of the white the other day. I was painting on something. It's just chalky for me, and I have to struggle with it. I want it to, I'm not like crazy, like you have to coat it in one coat or anything like that, but I still want it to not be forever. And it just chalks up too quickly for me. I will say though, I've had much better luck with the Pro Acro White, because I can actually paint over it, and it most of the time does not give me any grief unless I let it dry a long time. Which sometimes I do if I'm near the end of it, but if I'm working, I'll be back on that paint before too long. And if I have to wait too long, it's really frustrating. And most of the paints, you don't have that problem. You paint, even with standard acrylic, you paint over, it's fine. But the white can just absorb. I actually did it on something recently, and it was the Pro Acryl. I don't have any other really. I do have maybe some from P3 white. And it was like insanely bright. Like once I wonder what it was. It was one of these minis. Was it this one? No, but usually I can cover it up with the contrast paint pretty quickly and it will look fantastic. But yeah, if you thin your paints, you have to figure out, like, getting the right consistency is a challenge, especially with standard acrylics. The contrast paints are, you know, they're meant to go directly on. They're meant to go directly on the undercoat, and you know, they obviously give you, they sell contrast medium, so you can thin it out. You don't have to go full on strength all the time. Like I did use that for the red. But yeah, if you thin it out and go slow, you can do pretty good, and you don't build too much brush strokes and things like that. That's where using the airbrush is great. Because the airbrush doesn't have any added, unless you have some issues with the like speckles, you know, like it spatters. It generally goes on pretty smooth, and you don't have to worry about it. It looks really nice. I'm going to need to put a little bit of white on there to highlight those pulls. That is too much paint. So the spider is, oh wait, I don't have all the blue in there. Let's do that. Okay. But I will do that with not a straight black, although I really love that Legion Black Legion that I used recently. I also really love the Basilicanum Gray. I'm sorry, it's not in focus. I really do like the contrast paints. They do a really nice, the zenithal highlight, you know, there's they call it slap chop. And slap chop you don't do, well, you can do it with an airbrush. But you generally just you dry brush on the brightness. I did it on this one here. I'm not 100% satisfied with her face. I have the other one which is put away, where her face is smoother. I was thinking about potentially going in and maybe brightening up the face a little bit. But I love the dry brush. I mean, the hair looks amazing. All this stuff looks really cool. And I think I put Basilicanum Gray on, and then I did a little bit of dry brush on top of that again to give some edge detail on the packs and stuff. And I really like the result. I mean, you don't have to do airbrush, but I do love the smoother results I get with airbrush. Oh, I did not go back and paint that buckle. Put the blue in there. Need more white, but just a tiny bit. So I don't like too much in the palette here because I can't, you basically, what you should do is you go and do like different levels of it. If you're going to do like layering or shades, you have like your strongest version here, and then you add progressively more water or medium to give you the brighter, the lighter versions of it, and it works great. Oh, I'm sorry, a little bit out of focus. But yeah, get some water again. I have like two things of water. One that is clean, and one that has color in it. And then I rinsed it, like I had all that red, so I rinsed it out. Still a little bit of red underneath it in there that I did not do on his throat. I will maybe come back to that. I will probably put varnish on and then go back in and try to do that on the hoodie. It's out of focus again. Okay, well, let's let that dry. And I will now get out the Basilicanum Gray. I don't think I need this blue anymore. I will use the real Basilicanum Gray. I have one that I spilled, and it doesn't have all the pigment in it anymore. So it's kind of a problem. This one has a lot at the bottom. This one has very little when after sitting. And so I don't know what happened when I spilled it, but maybe all that pigment was suspended, or a huge amount of it. I mean, I use a vortex mixer, so it's good to have all the... You really want to mix these well. That is the thing. And a vortex mixer makes some of these much easier to mix. I actually was kind of hurting my elbow, getting kind of tennis elbow thing going on from shaking it. Because you really have to shake them a lot. Some of these have some heavy pigment at the bottom. Anyway, I think this looks pretty good. I think the orange on here is great. I highlighted the spider arms here, but he turned out great. Okay. So once again, I am going to put some contrast medium because I don't want this to be as the brightest. I suppose I could have used the non-good version of the contrast paint, but I do want it to have a little bit of the action there. Focus. Wow. out of focus. And then I'll probably go back over it with a little bit of white again at the top to just brighten it back up at the ends, on the edges. Too much. Okay, so I'm going to use this black, but maybe a little, well, this gray, a little bit more intense on the spider. This wet palette is not, the palette is not good. It helps, it's focusing on that. A little bit underneath there. It won't really, doesn't matter, but I will take it off. But it could be a shadow. I mean, these, I don't know that you'd have a, well, I guess it's maybe a, you know, a embroidery thing. Who knows? I don't know what these things are in Spider-Man. So maybe it shouldn't cast a shadow. Cool. So let's see if I can do a little bit of white. So you want it to kind of, it's about the right consistency. It's a little strong, but I'm not going to, I'm going to be doing a highlight on the gauntlets on his wrists. Right on his hand. Let's get that off. Okay. Too much. Wonder why it's thinner. They had this problem before. Probably because it's darker on this backside. Ugh, it's kind of flat there. Need some on the backside, but I think it needs to be thinned a little bit. I'm running out of paint way quicker than I thought here. Not enough pigment? It's kind of coming out chalky. I do not get it. Okay. Let's do, it's kind of an olive color that they've got going on the stone. It's pretty neat. What time is it? It is 12:44. I'll go a little bit longer and see if I can get that mostly done. What do I have? I like that one, I know that. Purple. Gilman flesh, yeah. Skeleton horde. I thought there was like a... all these bright colors. Oh, I know that one. I don't want to do an ink. I think I definitely want to use a contrast. Maybe this Nazarick yellow. Thinned out. This is definitely a brownish yellow though. Okay, so first thing, put it on one of these so I don't spill it. Black Legion, Black Templar. Always try to put them back in the same place so I can find them. So first things first, a little bit of contrast medium. So in the first batch of these, I used a lot of, I mixed a lot of the colors because I only had 20 something of the 36. And you can totally do a pretty good job. I mean, like the yellow, I was not satisfied with their yellow. That's very brown. I was not satisfied with their yellow. I mean, it's good. The Ironed yellow was the first one, but it was not, like I had to work to get it there, and it's the lowest amount of pigment when I got it to the brightness that I wanted. I think I need a little bit of the Plague Bearer green. I really wish there was like a good gray. Maybe the inks. The inks have some cool colors. Add a little bit more contrast medium. I mean, these move pretty quick. I spent the first hour talking about other things and working on it a little bit, but not really painting. You can really get a lot done if you just focus on these, and I think the results are pretty great. I end up putting more effort than I initially do. I'll always go a little bit further and start doing some highlights and stuff. So let's see what this looks like. We'll go on the back side here. That should be fine. It's going to be very green on the front. And maybe I'll dry brush it or something to bring it down a little bit, because it is pretty bright, even though I thinned it quite a bit with contrast medium. I tend to do a lot more gray on the things on the ground, but some of this stuff, it's so prominent. I'm like, oh, I'll just give it some color. I mean, I'll paint these plants green, these leaves. It's very yellow. It is a yellow though. I thought it was looking brown, but it's more yellow. It's okay though. One of the minis that I did, I believe I did it already, I might not have, but had a manhole cover that was really cool. And then one was on a street light on the, that'd fallen, which was great. I like those. It's fun when they have some cool terrain stuff going on. Is it touching that? It is. There we go. Okay, am I going to do a little bit more here? It's very gray. It's a putty color on the original one, so I'm going to have to I don't have to match it, but I will probably do a little bit. Okay, what is a good green? I have a lot of greens, except it's very green on that post, so. This might have been the color here for. I've used this one, I guess. It's got a agitator bead, but I don't remember it. So I actually, the first transparent pro-acryl paint I bought was the yellow, because I didn't have, I was not satisfied with the yellow completely that was in the GW, the main yellow that they had, the ironed-in yellow. Wow, that is not shaken up. I liked it a lot. I used it for a lot of stuff. And then I bought more, but I bought the orange, the transparent orange. It's good. I bought the white, I bought the black, I think. It's just a different kind of paint. It's not a contrast paint. It's not an ink. It kind of is a shade. What are the ones I have? I got all the metallics, I got all the transparents, and I don't have all the acrylics, because when I was buying them, I had another set of acrylics that I bought, which I didn't use enough, and I gave it to my friend's daughter. Her and her friend were painting stuff, so I was like, here's a whole bunch of paints, here's some brushes, here's some minis, have fun with it. I hope they had fun. I haven't actually talked to them. Saw them at their other daughter's bridal shower, no, baby shower, and it was fun. Hadn't seen them in a while, and I was excited to hear that they were painting minis, so I hope they had fun. Okay, that is mixed enough. Let's see what that looks like. It was going to be a plant, a leaf. Yeah, it's pretty good. I wonder if I should thin it. Basically, when you don't know if you should thin it, you should thin it. It's a military color, but it looks pretty good. And I'll probably put some brighter color on top of it. It's pretty bright. Not that bad. I am glad I put a little bit of contrast medium in there, though. Out of focus. Come on, focus. Also, this could be in a cemetery. Nikki and I were in a cemetery in London. Real old one that she wanted to go visit. And all the stones are green, you know, the moss. It was really cool looking. So this could have been a broken monument inside of a cemetery. Not in focus. That's getting shiny. Come on. Okay, toothpick. Toothpick, where are you? There you go. Just want to get a little bit off because I'm not going to go into the... I'm going to do the gray on the bottom like I normally do. So I definitely want to do some more highlights. I need to do something with the back. There's a spider on the back that is lighter. Oh, I see there's little tips on the, Maybe I'll do a little bit of blue then. Again, you do what you want. You don't have to follow the job that was done on the Paint Mini, but it's nice because I don't know the stuff that well. Cool. Definitely need to let the stone dry more before I do any more to it and decide. But it looks great. Really cool. I do have the red inside here in the, which you don't really have to sweat. Maybe I won't. But the face looks cool. So this is Scarlet Spider. Is that right, Scarlet? Yes, Scarlet, not Crimson. Well, cool. Let me make sure all the bottles are closed and put away. That yellow. I have used it, but I don't really recall it. Looking at what it looked like exactly. Oops, there we go. So there you go. There are the two that I've worked on lately. This one needs some more stuff to really make him pop. I need to work on the belt. Definitely need to work on the stone that he is, the piece of architecture or whatever that he is standing on. And then do a little bit of highlights. So I put in and did a little bit of white on the Spider-Man. On this one here, the Superior Spider-Man. I will do something similar to that and highlight some of the, maybe with a yellow. I don't know, what are they doing here? They did it with, it's kind of white, pink white. Maybe a little bit of yellow in there. Who knows? Cool. I will be away. Nikki and I will probably be back a week from Thursday with a stream. I come back on Wednesday from Dallas, so I might have time to, I'm hoping I have I'm recovered. Let me switch cameras here. Wish this tablet thingy worked. I wonder what's going on here. But yeah, I'll be away so for just a week, and then we'll be back for a stream on Thursday of next week, and then I will probably paint again 2 weeks from this Thursday. Although I'll be painting because my goal, I want to try to paint 2 or 3 minis a day. I can do it. but I am not doing that. I've done okay. I've done 2 several days. But I really need to try to really kick it up. I have a ton of minis to paint, and I need to get through them. And you know, that's how you just hunker down and make it a habit. So like I didn't paint this weekend, but maybe a tiny bit. But my mom was over. She's most often over on the weekends, and so when she's around, I don't love it. But I ended up like working on stuff yesterday when she was here, and that was a bummer. And then when she was here on Saturday, no, it was Sunday. So Monday she wasn't here, and I didn't get to say goodbye to her. And, you know, I'm not going to see her for over a week. And I was kind of bummed because I was just too busy with stuff on Sunday. So it wasn't then that maybe that was, I'm really confusing here. No, it was Sunday. I did get to hang with her on Saturday though, but I don't want to spend too much time where I can't do that. But I have like a tray here. I've got this one here. I had 2 of them, but I gave one to Nick. But it is a little carrier that you can do, and I would like to try to use it. I'm throwing things around here. That was the other super glue. Did I already use the second one? I might have. But it's great. You know, you can carry your paints and paint with it. I've used it many times, but I need to use it. I need to bring it in the house. I can sit with Mom when I'm doing that. So we shall see. I need to figure it out. Well, I won't be doing anything for another week. So I hope everybody had a good time. And thank you for joining me. And thanks for the chat. And I hope, let me see if there's somebody to raid. We're probably going to raid Ruel. As a matter of fact, I know we're going to raid Ruel. So let me go look at that. Actually, it's not really, it's Ruel, but it's on Rado's channel. Where is it? Twitch, help me. Let's go to that's my problem is I'm not used to the interface. They changed the interface a little while ago and I just don't have it down. Stream Manager. We already might be on that. Might have already gone over. So whoever's left with me, thanks for being here. And say hello on Rado's channel. Hopefully, YouTube people can't join, but you can always go over. Both of them are great. We like doing it on both so people can. Many YouTube people don't know that we stream. And hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week. Take care, and I'll see you again next week. Bye, everybody. Okay, and see you, YouTube folks. Take care.